After Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton got promoted to the Premier League from the Championship, it's left the league devoid of quality. I'm going to discuss in this video some potential overachievers, underachievers, who I think are going to romp the league and who I think are going to go down. The Championship is the best league in the world, it's my favourite. As a Sheffield United fan, it's bittersweet that we've been relegated because although I enjoy Championship football, the relegation isn't very fun either. But yeah, this is going to be one massive discussion. I want you guys to be commenting down below whether you think I'm an idiot, whether you think I'm right, whether you just think I'm too early. But before the video does start, I'm just going to ask you to pop subscribe on the channel. I'm on 655 at the time of recording. I'm aiming for a K by the end of the summer. I think it's plenty doable. So first off, I want to start with the best teams in the league, okay? These are the teams which I believe are going to be in the top two. The main one is Burnley. They're getting Ruud van Nistelrooy at the time of recording as their manager. He's just left PSV in the Eredivisie. They've got absolute bags of quality. I can just think about the first couple of players I've made: Brownhill, Berger, Manuel Benson, Josh Cullen, Muric. They've got so much quality in the squad. I'm sure they've got plenty of money to burn after being in the Premier League for 10 years and yo-yoing a couple of times. They've got loan players coming back like Amdouni. Now, they might sell a couple of players, that's completely understandable, but I just think tactically, if they attack the league like they did a couple of seasons ago with Company, I think Ruud will do a good job. I think they might sign a couple more players to improve the squad, and I think in 12 months' time, we'll be looking at Burnley as a much improved Premier League squad who actually stand a bit more of a chance of staying up. And then the other side is Leeds. They were the one club out of the top four in the Championship last season who didn't go up. Obviously Leicester, Ipswich and Southampton did, as I mentioned before, but Daniel Farke has a proven track record in the Championship. It's only the second time that he's not even been promoted from the division. Leeds have money to burn, although they might get rid of a couple of players. You know, the players are going to Meadow, Ruta, Somerville, Nonto. I think that the owners clearly want to invest. They're a big club, as much as I hate saying it as a Sheffield United fan, and they're going to be up there. Top two? I think so. Now, what I've said there is fairly expected. It's fairly plain, it's fairly simple. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be saying it. Luton are in the mix as well to be in that top three, top four playoff. But I think that there's an underdog which people aren't really mentioning. I think that's Stoke. They've got Schumacher as manager, who got Plymouth promoted, 12 months ago. With a pre-season, I think he could do really well with Stoke. They've got a good team on paper like Berger, Baker, and then they've also got some unknown quantities like Vidigal and Jojic up front. Excuse me if I've pronounced them poorly, but I think they're a sleeping giant. As much as I hate that phrase, it's used a lot on football cliches and I take the piss out of it, but they're a big club. They was in the Premier League for so long. They've had a squad that's underperformed in the Championship for so long. I think Schumacher's a good manager. I think he gets his team playing a certain way, and I think that he can do well with Stoke. We saw at the end of the season that they improved, and I think the league is devoid of quality. The only clubs last season who got into the playoffs were ones with parachute payments. We had Norwich and West Brom in there, and another year about parachute payments. If West Brom keep Corberan, they'll probably be up there. If Norwich invest again, which it looks like they're doing, they'll probably be up there. But I feel like below the top six from last season, you look at the league and you think it's anybody's choosing. And now it's time for the biggest underperforming side, Sheffield United. It's so clear to me as a Sheffield United fan, no matter what people predict us to do this season, unless it's about 18th, we're not going to do any better, all right? We're being touted as being potentially going back up, so we've got Chris Wilder as manager. I can't see it. We've got a total rebuild to do. Players like Norwood, Basham, Baldock have all moved on. Fotheringham's included in that as well. He's gone to West Ham, I'm pretty sure. We're in the midst of getting a new owner. We're not signing players. We're rumoured with a couple, but we can't even get them over the line at the time of recording. Hopefully when this video goes out, we've got the new owner, but you'll have to check on that. I don't think we will. But Chris Wilder's hands are tied. He's got a lot of transfer targets. The only positive for the club really is that we've got Hamer, Arblaster, and now Ahmed Hodzic, but whether we keep all of those, I don't know. We're still waiting on McBurney and Egan and Osborne to sign contracts, but I think that's partly because we're waiting for these new owners. And realistically, by mid-July, Sheffield United need to have about 4 or 5 players at minimum to start this rebuilding process, to get them all in a pre-season together. It doesn't look like it's happening. It's so frustrating as a fan, because we've gone through 12 months of utter shite in the Premier League with how badly we've performed, a manager turnaround, conceding 104 goals in 38 matches. How's that even bloody possible for starters? And it looks like we're not even going to be going into the first game of the season with a full pre-season behind us and a good squad behind us. I don't think we'll go down, but I think pushing the top off is the most that we can really be expecting. Rant over. The worst teams in the Championship next season, and to be honest, there's a crop of teams. There's probably about 14 to 16 teams in the league who are all just mid. They could easily be getting, drawn into a relegation battle. They could easily get pushed into the playoffs. The two worst teams in the league, in my opinion, and I think, again, it's another opinion which a lot of people will be sharing, it's Plymouth and it's Oxford. So just starting with Plymouth, they rely a lot on Morgan Whittaker. If he stays at the club, it's, they still stand a chance of staying up, but I still think, second season syndrome could kick in. They've got Wayne Rooney as manager. Yes, he did good at Derby about 5 years ago or whatever it is now. But since then, he's been to America and did a decent job. I don't really care about that job. It doesn't translate to the Championship very well. And then he messed up at Birmingham last season, and they got relegated in the end because of how poor the form was. I think they're the new Rotherham, Plymouth are, in the way that they've not got a huge amount of money. Yes, they might have a bit more infrastructure behind the scenes to recruit and stuff. They've got clever people. I'm not going to deny that. But with the budget that they've got to accept that it's going to be a relegation fight. I think they'll go down. And then Oxford, they've got a decent team on paper. Don't get me wrong. Cameron Brannigan's good. Josh Murphy, who has left, was good for them last season. Mark Harris up front, he presses well. They played the reverse mullet formation. Listen to a lot of, not the Top 20 podcast, and that's what they call Des Buckingham's formation. George Alec, that is. And it's a weird one. I don't know whether that formation is going to translate in the Championship. If you don't know about it, it's just a flat back four. They've got Cameron Brannigan sitting in a defensive midfield position, playmaking from deep and cutting out any opposition counter-attacks. And then they've just got two attacking midfielders, two wingers and a striker. And it's a system that's got them over the line. The second half of the season form was really good, or definitely the last month or two. But I think there's a few problems. As I say, Josh Murphy has left. He looks like he's going to Portsmouth, which must be pretty frustrating for an Oxford fan, seeing as they've just got promoted with them and he's chosen a rival. Des Buckingham's a relatively unknown quantity. I know that doesn't really have much pulling power in the Championship. I'm not one of these who says get a manager in who's got Championship experience, he knows the league. I think that's stupid. But at the same time, Buckingham, he's had 6 to 8 months in League One and he's getting fired straight into the Championship. They don't have a huge amount of money. Now, they're rumoured with a fair few players, that's loans and transfers, but until any of it's concrete, I don't know what's going to happen with them, and I think they'll go down. But yeah, that's my little very early season prediction for the Championship. Come the end of the season, a lot of these predictions might come right. I think the most outrageous one might be saying that Stoke are going to overachieve and potentially get into the playoffs, but I think there's a lot to go off with them. A player like Valberg is really good, and if my Sheffield United prediction doesn't come true, I'll be bloody happy at that. What I'm going to do is, in the comment section, I'm going to pin it. I'm going to put a comment that says best team, overachievers, underperformers, and the worst team. I want you guys to fill in the blanks. I want you guys to give your opinions. I know it's very early on. I'm not going to call any of you out because, quite frankly, as I say, it's that early on that we don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, get commenting. I'll reply to whoever does. And I'll see you in the next video.